Most people think smart people were born with a special brain. They think intelligence is something you either have or you don't. But that belief is wrong, and it's holding you back. The smartest people in the world don't think harder. They think differently. They stay calm when others panic. They see solutions when others see chaos. They control their emotions instead of being controlled by them. And the good news is, you can learn this. In this video, I'll show you 5 Stoic habits that make people mentally unstoppable. If you master even one of these habits, your confidence will increase, your stress will drop, and people will start seeing you as intelligent and emotionally mature. Watch until the end, because the final habit is what separates emotionally reactive people from true masters of the mind. Habit 1. They don't fight to be right. Most people think smart people means winning arguments. They debate. They defend their ego. They try to prove others wrong. But Stoic thinkers understand something deeper. Winning arguments rarely makes you wiser. Instead of arguing, they ask questions. They say things like, "Help me understand your point of view. What made you think this way? Can you explain your reasoning?" They're not trying to dominate, they're trying to learn. This simple shift changes everything. When you ask questions, people stop seeing you as an enemy. They open up, they respect you. You instantly appear calm, intelligent, and emotionally mature. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. Think about the smartest people you know. They don't talk over others. They don't need to prove themselves. They listen. Listening is not weakness. Listening is power. When you stop fighting to be right, you start becoming wise. Habit 2. They zoom out and see the big picture. Most people live inside the moment. A bad day feels like a bad life. One mistake feels like failure forever. But Stoic thinkers zoom out. They see life from above, like watching a movie instead of being trapped inside the scene. A failed test becomes feedback. A rejection becomes redirection. A mistake becomes data. Marcus Aurelius wrote that your pain is not caused by events, but by your judgment of those events. Smart people change their judgment. They ask, "What can I learn from this? What will this matter in 5 years? How can I use this to improve?" When you zoom out, problems shrink. Your emotions calm down. You regain control. Most people zoom in on pain. Stoic thinkers zoom out on life. Habit 3. They control what they can and ignore the rest. Anxiety comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. People worry about opinions. They worry about the future. They worry about the past. They worry about things completely outside their control. Stoics divide life into 2 categories: what you can control and what you cannot. They focus only on what they can control. You can't control the weather, but you can control preparation. You can't control others, but you can control your actions. You can't control outcomes, but you can control effort. This mindset eliminates unnecessary stress. When you stop trying to control everything, you finally gain control over yourself. And self-control is the foundation of intelligence. Habit 4. They use silence as a tool. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They talk too much. They overshare. They react too fast. Stoic thinkers are comfortable with silence. They pause before speaking. They listen deeply. They allow others to finish their thoughts. Silence creates presence. When you pause before answering, people assume your words matter. When you listen without interrupting, people feel respected. When you stay quiet, people reveal more about themselves. The loudest person in the room is rarely the smartest. The calmest person often is. Habit 5. They pause instead of reacting. This is the most powerful Stoic habit. Most people react instantly. Anger, fear, ego, impulse. Stoic thinkers pause. They breathe. They observe, they choose their response. When someone insults them, they don't explode. When something goes wrong, they don't panic. When emotions rise, they step back. This pause creates psychological dominance. The person who controls their reaction controls the situation. Emotional control is real intelligence. You don't need to be born smart. You don't need a high IQ. You don't need elite education. You need Stoic thinking habits. Ask questions instead of arguing. Zoom out instead of panicking. Control what you can and ignore the rest. Use silence. Pause before reacting. If you practice these habits, people will see you as calm, wise, and powerful. You will think clearly while others panic. You will make better decisions. You will feel mentally unstoppable. If you want to build a Stoic mindset, subscribe to Stoic Mindset Academy and turn on notifications. This channel is for people who want mental strength, emotional control, and psychological power. Every week, I upload videos that help you think better, feel stronger, and handle life like a Stoic philosopher. Comment below which habit you will start today. Remember, you don't need to change your entire life today. You only need to change how you think. One habit, one thought, one calm response at a time. That is how real intelligence is built. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.